Hello again, good friends. Welcome new subscribers. I'm Brian from Apex Detail. Here on the channel, I try to review as many polishers as I can get my hands on, from the beginner all the way up to the professional, economical all the way up to the very pricey, and that even includes some polishers I don't really enjoy myself. This channel isn't about me, it's about helping you as much as I can, and I will review everything I can get my hands on. So today we're going to review the Griot's Garage G21. This is a 21mm long throw polisher. I'm excited to take a closer look at this, so let's get to it. All right, before we get to the closer look section of the video, where does the G21 fall in their line? Well, you have the 3-inch polisher, the 8mm throw, the entry level, the 15mm, and here, the long throw 21mm for larger panels, large vehicles, and heavy imperfections. In the kit, the owner's manual, you have the warranty card, a 2-year comprehensive warranty. Register that. You have an extra set of brushes, the Allen key, a little tub of silicone. You have a double washer mod available, a goodies bag. And here is a performance sheet. Kind of shows you where it falls in line in the Boss correction system with their pads and their creams. Comes with a 6-inch pad. You have the option of swapping that out for a 5-inch pad. Composite plastic body. There's the 5-inch pad we're going to put on it eventually, and a nice long cord. All right, for the closer look section, on the non-marring composite plastic body, you have the platypus head, and throughout the body, you'll have the energy dampening. It's a double shot rubber grip on many sections, and you have the brushes, an easy get-to brush swap out area, trigger with lock. You have the speed dial, and the cord is a little over 13 feet. We're going to get an exact measurement in just a little bit. The speed dial has great tactical feedback as well as the trigger itself, and it's a heavy unit. As you can see here, if you want to get that backing plate away from the shroud, you're going to have to use the washer mod. As we scale the G21, we're going to see that it comes in at a little over 6 pounds. And if you're working on a larger vehicle for a long, extended period of time, just a warning or a heads up, this may wear you down a bit. The length of the polisher overall, from the head of the platypus back to the cord, is a little over 15 inches. We have 3.5 inches wide on the widest part of the composite plastic body. From the top of the polisher to the bottom of the backing plate without a pad is a little under 5 inches. So there you know what it would fit under if you're going into tight spaces. The overall length of the cord is just over 13 feet. And that will bring us to the next segment. This is the look inside segment. This is where you guys know I love to know what makes these machines tick, so we're going to crack these open. We're going to start with the backing plate and the working end of the polisher. Put on the 5-inch pad, and while we have it open, we have the high temperature lithium moisture fighting grease to put in there. And we start with the backing plate. We take that off. That reveals a finely tuned counterbalance, and that's where the smoothness of the machine is. That's where it all comes from right there, if it's done right. All right, we're going to start with the precision machine counterbalance. 3 Phillips head screws. Hold that on. We're going to remove those, and level by level we'll get down to the gear housing and the gears and bearings inside. Repack the grease with some high temperature, again, moisture resistant lithium, and just the counterbalance alone is a little under 7.5 ounces. Okay, removing the counterbalance reveals yet 4 more screws, Phillips heads, down in the inside, holding down the shroud. Now, I should have removed the platypus handle in the front here, but we'll just take care of that after I remove the screws. That way the shroud can come out easier and quicker. By the way, guys, I'm cracking this open so we can get a good look in the inside for you guys so you don't have to and avoid that warranty. But I also like to repack the grease. I know the crap grease that they put in there to save a couple bucks, and I like to pack it nice and tight with some quality stuff that gives me a little bit of peace of mind. And as we take the composite non-marring plastic platypus head off, we could see the ribs inside, gives it structure and strength. So the non-marring plastic, the composite plastic, you can bump it or rub it up against the car and it will not transfer the plastic. So as we pull the housing apart and get to the spindle gear and bearings, you can see the cheap grease that's in there. We are going to use Citral 266 and an old rag and get that out of there. There you can see that's the pin that holds the gears. So if you're changing your backing plate, it holds it in place. Just press that down. The pin comes through, locks into the spindle gear, stops it. You can also see the main drive gear in there as well. So I'm going to speed things up here to keep the length of the video reasonable, but I'm going to pack the grease in and around the spindle gear and the bearings, and then also in at the main drive gear and put everything back together. All right, the shroud is once again secured with its 4 Phillips head screws. We could slide the platypus handle or head back onto the machine. That just clamps into place, and then you could put the 2 plastic tips back in. That's where you would thread handles in on either side. All right, so now we can get the precision counterbalance back on, another 3 Phillips head screws, and then we can get to that backing plate. We'll get to the backing plate and we'll put in those 2 washers for the washer mod, get the backing plate away from the shroud. That will help increase free spin and a little bit more power behind that polisher. Okay, we have the backing plate secured on there. We can grab the lock washer and the T30 bolt and secure that as well. And now you can see the space that gives us between the backing plate and the shroud, and that will reduce stalling, give us a little bit more power. All right, next, these caps, there are 2, one on each side. You need to remove those, unscrew them, and that will give you access to the brushes. Spring-loaded underneath, so be careful when you're unscrewing them so they don't go flying away from you. They're a bit hard to find. Once they do land on the floor, pull those out, replace them, slide the new ones in, replace the caps. That's all there's to that. You don't need to take any of the plastic body apart to get to them. And then we have 5 more. These are T15 screws. To remove, they hold the business end of the polisher where the trigger, PCB, and the speed dial and all the wiring is housed. Careful removing the casing. Never know if a wire is secured to the inside of the casing. That reveals the switches and all the wiring. And you can see the brand of the switch right here and the numbers. If you ever need to replace it, you can get replacement parts for those. The wiring is all nice and tidy in the inside. The PCB is right under the dial there. And the good sign, the PCB is coated. It's a polymeric film, so that reduces and guards against moisture, dust, chemicals, temperature extremes. And that's down in there. It's hard to see. I'm trying to get a good angle, but I can't hold the light and the polisher at the same time. So let's get this back together and get this thing running for you. Okay, all back together, safe and sound. You can hear the tactical feedback of the speed dial. The trigger, excellent tactical feedback. Lock it in and you're good to go. And I'll let it run so you can hear it. Very well balanced, very little vibration. The sound is minimal, And the trigger is variable speed, so there's no soft start. It's like an instant start to it. You can feather that, and the speed dial is variable speed as well. So let's play with a test panel here. As you can see, this little masked off section is pretty beat up. We'll use 3D AAT, and we have a Lake Country low lint pre-washed lamb's wool pad attached to it, the 5-inch backing plate, and let's play a little bit, and I'll again be quiet so you can hear this thing. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea of balance you get with the machine. Very little vibration. The sound isn't screaming and annoying. It's nice and quiet and does one heck of a job. So where would this fit in? Where would this fit in your detailing arsenal? Well, larger vehicles, RVs, campers, boats with gel coat, larger vehicles, trucks, SUVs, a larger Cadillac like this with a big booty. All these panels are pretty big, so you can fly around the car rather quickly. Right now, I actually have the 6-inch backing plate back on it. Just so I can cover more territory and get around the car quickly. Time is money, and we got to get going. Okay, that's going to do it. Let me remove the residue and grab you guys, bring you in close. You can see the power and the performance this has on GM Clear Coat, which can be quite stubborn. And like I said, it's going to help me speed up the process, get around the car. This is a multi-step correction here. So it's going to cut down on time, and it's going to shorten my day and help me out a bit. And for the final thoughts segment of the video, the Griot's Garage G21 21mm long throw polisher. A quality build inside and out. The right across the panel is smooth. Vibration and noise very low due to the ball bearing design. Price. When it comes to price, I wish it was $75 to $100 cheaper. This is a polisher that fits into the category of A detailer that's been doing it for quite some time maybe is looking for an upgrade or is looking for a second polisher to help on larger vehicles such as SUVs, RVs, larger cars, larger panels, to help speed up the process and give them a little bit more power for some heavier defects. Someone just starting out does not need this. Start with an 8mm throw, get used to polishing and machines, and then worry about something like this down the road when you have steady income and you have a calendar filled up with customers. Guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.